So in this section we will discuss about how we can use filters in controllers. How we can use these filters in controllers. So these filters in view can be easily used with this pipe operator. Like for suppose if you want to use the uppercase filter, we will say pipe of this uppercase with that variable name. With that variable name. So now this variable will be converted into this uppercase. Now for suppose we want to use this filter, we want to use this uppercase filter in our controller. So how can we achieve this? So filters in control. So filters in controller. So we can use filters in controllers in two ways. So the first way is by injecting an object of the filter name followed with a filter. Like for suppose if we want to use uppercase in our controller, we will inject uppercase which is appended with filter. So now we will inject this object into our controller. Same way, if you want to use the lowercase, we will say lowercase filter. If you want the filter of the number, we will inject number filter. Yeah. So when we define our controller, we can inject these objects. And now if we require many filters, instead of injecting them separately, instead of injecting them one by one, we can inject entire filter object. We can inject entire filter service. This can be also used as service. So we can inject entire filter service. So now we will see an example of how can we inject individual filter. So we can inject, so if you now we will inject a filter of uppercase. So now we have a controller. So in this controller we are injecting a uppercase filter. So we should inject with the filter name which is appended with filter, and we can easily use this filter by passing a input. So now we are passing the input of Skanda, which will be converted into uppercase. In a similar way, we can also pass this entire filter object. So now we can also pass this entire filter object into our control. So after passing this filter object, so to use this filter object, it is a factory of filter. This filter object is a factory of filter. It gives us a particular filter which we need. So we will say we need a dollar filter of uppercase. So now after injecting the service of dollar filter, if you want to use any particular filter, we will pass as an argument. So we will say dollar filter of this uppercase. So now this will return an function of uppercase filter. It will return a function of uppercase filter. Again we can pass input to this. So now it will return an uppercase of this object. It will return an uppercase of this object. So we will see this example. So now instead of injecting this individual filter, we can inject our dollar filter. So this dollar filter is a service, so we can use this by saying dollar filter of whichever filter we want to use. So we are using uppercase. So now we are using uppercase. So this dollar filter is a factory of filters, so it will return a function called uppercase filter. So again we are passing the input of something. So now when we run this, it will again produce the same output. So now we can use any filter. So again we can use a filter of lowercase. Again we can use a filter of this lowercase. So this way we can use filters in our controllers. So filters in controllers we can use in two ways. One is by passing individual filter, and one is passing entire filter factory. One is passing by individual filter and one is by passing entire filter factory. So individual filter can be passed using filter name appended with filter. Like if you want to inject lowercase filter, you will say lowercase appended with filter, and here we will pass the entire our factory of filter, that is dollar